All right, today we're going to break down a really interesting, systematic way to approach football betting, specifically for the over 2.5 goals market. Forget about gut feelings or just, lucky guesses. This is a 7-filter system built purely on data.
Stop betting on vibes. We bet data. I mean, that really says it all, doesn't it? So many of us, right, we lose bets based on hunches, on raw emotion. Well, the system we're digging into today is the total opposite. It's all about trading in that emotion for some cold, hard logic.
So does this sound familiar? If you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely in the right place. See, the thing is, consistent losses often boil down to just one thing: picking the wrong games. So today, we're going to look at a system that's designed to fix that exact problem, to filter out all the noise and lock in on the real opportunities.
Okay, here's the game plan for today. First, we'll look at why bets are failing in the first place. Then, we'll get into the core of the system, the 5 out of 7 rule. After that, we'll dive deep into the 7 winning filters themselves, talk about 2 different ways to execute, and wrap up with what it takes to really become a data-driven bettor. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, why your bets are failing. It's all about moving from pure guesswork to a solid system. So let's tackle the big question right away. Why do so many bets actually fail? Well, it really just comes down to this shift, moving away from random, unstructured guesses and toward a repeatable, logical system you can trust.
And this right here perfectly illustrates that mental shift we're talking about. On one side, you have betting on vibes. That's all emotion, guesswork, it's just inconsistent noise, right? But on the other side, you have betting with data. And that is all about logic, having a system, and finding consistency. It's about spotting a real pattern that you can actually rely on.
So, the 5 out of 7 rule. This is the core of the whole system. The big question is, how do you build this logical framework? Well, it all kicks off with one single foundational principle. Think of it like a gatekeeper that stands in front of every single bet you might consider.
And it really is this simple. 5 out of 7. That's it. That's the magic number. This ratio is the engine that drives the entire process. It's the absolute minimum bar a game has to clear before you even give it a second look.
And here's the most important thing to get about this rule, the 5-7 rule. It isn't just about finding the good bets. It's actually more about aggressively filtering out the bad ones. So if a match doesn't hit at least 5 of the 7 checks we're going to talk about, you just walk away. No second guessing, no exceptions. This is the rule that protects your money and keeps you disciplined.
Section 3, the 7 winning filters. This is your data-driven checklist. Okay, now we get to the real heart of the system. Let's break down the 7 specific data filters that make up your pre-match checklist. These are the hurdles every single game has to clear. So here they are, all 7. We've got high average goals, a 70% trend consistency, making sure it's a high-scoring league, checking the head-to-head history, looking for that attack versus defense mismatch, an early goal pattern, and finally, the motivation factor. As you can see, we're looking at this from every possible angle, from stats to psychology. Each one adds another piece to the puzzle.
All right, let's start with filter number 1, high average goals. Now, we're not just looking for teams that play in games with a lot of goals. We got to dig a little deeper. The system says we need teams that score at least 1.7 goals a game on average. But, and this is just as important, they also need to concede over 1.2 goals per game. You see, you need a great attack and a leaky defense. That combination is the absolute perfect recipe for goals. Okay, filter number 2 is all about a consistent recent trend. We need to see that the over 2.5 goals market has hit in at least 7 of the last 10 matches for these teams. See, if that recent form isn't there, the whole point is that it's probably just random noise. It's not a reliable pattern you can actually bet on.
Now, filters 3 and 4 are where context becomes king. First, with filter 3, you kinda zoom out. It's not enough for the teams to score a lot. They need to be in a league where goals are common. Think the Dutch Eredivisie or the German Bundesliga. Then, for filter 4, you zoom right back in on this specific matchup. You have to ask, do these 2 teams have a history of high-scoring games against each other? The rule is clear. At least 3 of their last 5 head-to-head games need to have gone over 2.5 goals.
I love this next one. The term they use for the 5th filter is chaos fuel, and that is the perfect description. This is all about finding that perfect storm. You're looking for a strong, high-scoring attack mashed up against a weak, leaky defense. When you get one team with a powerful offense and the other with a vulnerable backline, you've got the ideal conditions for, well, chaos and goals.
All right, our last two filters here, 6 and 7, are all about the game's dynamics. Filter 6 asks, do these teams start fast? Do they tend to score early, say in the first 30 minutes? Because an early goal totally changes the game, right? It forces the other team to come out and attack. And then there's filter 7, motivation. What's at stake here? Is it a cup final, a title decider, a relegation dogfight? These high-stakes games basically force teams to go for the win, which almost always means more attacking football.
Part 4. 2 ways to execute, turning analysis into action. Okay, so you've done all the hard work. You've found a match that passes at least 5 of our 7 filters. Now what? Well, this is where we turn all that great analysis into an actual smart bet.
You've basically got 2 main ways to go here. The first is the pre-match entry. This is the simple, repeatable way to do it. If the odds are right, somewhere between 1.6 and 1.9, you place your bet. Done. But then there's the in-play entry. This is a more advanced technique for getting the absolute best value. Here, you're going to wait for the game to start and for those odds to get even better. And this in-play strategy, this is where the pros really find their edge. So imagine this. The game is 25 minutes in, and it's still 0-0. Most people might start to panic. But not you. You're checking the live stats. Are there still goal attempts? Shots on target? Is the possession attacking? If you see all that action, but just no goal yet, the odds will have shot up. That's your moment. That's when you get in at maximum value, and it's a move that really separates the sharp traders from the casual gamblers.
All right, Section 5, becoming a data-driven bettor. We're talking about trading versus gambling here. And this might be the most important part of this entire explainer, because this isn't just about a checklist of rules. It's about a complete mindset shift in how you approach betting.
When you boil it all down, the goal is pretty simple. To stop being a gambler who just hopes to get lucky, and to start becoming a trader who makes calculated, very selective decisions based on data. It's all about building a consistent, repeatable process that can be profitable over the long haul. Now, of course, to put any of this into practice, you're going to need access to good data. The source material for this system recommends a few great tools you can use to run your analysis and check all these filters. You've got sites like Soccer Stats, Flash Score, Footy Stats, a bunch of options out there that can really help streamline your research.
And of course, we have to give full credit where it's due. This whole explainer is based on the 7-filter system which was developed and really brought to life by the YouTube channel Bet Baron.
And all of that leaves us with one final question to think about. At the end of the day, this system is all about discipline. It's about having a process, and it's about finding a real statistical edge. So the real question is for you. Are you ready to put in the work to build that edge, or are you just going to keep chasing the hype? The choice, as they say, is yours.